Okay, now I can go back and sit down.
Good morning. No, you can't go sit down. I want you up here for... Good morning.
Good morning.
Ladies class.
Okay.
Eileen.
Yeah.
What's the matter with us?
She's going to be up here for a minute. Come here.
He's the
Come
boss.
here. Come here. You're not done yet. I want Eileen to say a word or two about the trip that's coming up. Because she knows more about it than I do.
Okay, well, it's going to be a great trip. We're going to see the Grand Ole Opry. We're going to see a show there. We're going to be on the General Direction showboat and see a show. We're going to see some, eat at Garrett University. That's a Methodist university, and tour the museum and upper room area. We're going to see Bicentennial Mall. Does anybody know what that is? No. It's a tribute to, is it World War II and veterans and Tennessee history and a lot of stuff there.
It's not a shopping mall.
Yeah.
It's a mall like in Washington, D.C. The National Mall in Washington, D.C.
Just lost your female audience.
But there is going to be plenty of opportunity to shop by the Grand Ole Opry, right across the street. I mean, it's not even a big highway, I think just a little path. There's a huge mall, larger than I think any mall we have here, shopping mall, and we'll spend a little time there, and you'll have an opportunity to go back and do your Christmas shopping on Thursday night. Then we're going to go to it's called the Opryland, Gaylord Opryland Hotel, but it's under a dome that covers 4.5 acres. And it's beautiful. There are waterfalls, there are boats, you can take boat rides. It's just gorgeous. So we'll do that. And the Country Music Hall of Fame, we're going to go to the Hermitage. It'll be a lot of fun.
And Friday?
Yeah, Friday. I forgot about that.
It must be Elvis's whole
Graceland. We'll fill you with grace and bring you home.
Oh, and we're going to Bass Pro to eat the first morning, Monday at noon. So, and give you guys a little time to look around. And
Ladies, if you've not been at Bass Pro, you'll enjoy shopping there.
There's shopping areas there.
And Hemingway, the restaurant upstairs is great.
Lots of good food lined out, so you might want to diet between now and then.
No eating, excessive eating between now and 2 weeks from tomorrow.
So we're looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good
Be
trip.
sure the bus driver can get behind the wheel.
I know, that's a
We
concern.
wedge him in there and he can stay.
Well,
I had a thought yesterday for Becky's sake here, who just booed because we're going to get to shop.
we've had it.
Yesterday, Friday rather, I drove the women. Well, go back. That looks like a wealthy table over there to me.
I've been by here 3 times.
Sitting there.
I'm not running out of money.
Well,
Pass around again.
Change if this table looks well.
like I used to tell my team, we're going to run this play till we get it right.
Pass it over to Margaret.
Is that supposed to be on?
Wait.
No.
It's on.
Well, it shouldn't be. They must have used it last hour. I don't know how to turn it off either. Friday, I drove the Women of Faith to Kansas City. They stayed in a hotel in Kansas City, Kansas, out near the Speedway. And I had not been out there. I've been by the Speedway on 70, but I've never gotten off 70 and gone over there. There is an entirely new city over there around that Speedway now. I remember one time when I was in seminary back in the 70s, I decided one Friday afternoon going home by myself, that I was tired of paying turnpike tolls, and so I thought, I'm going to get on 24. I can go all the way to Topeka on 24, and then I can avoid the turnpike altogether and get on 70 out west of Topeka, and I'll just avoid the turnpike completely. And so I did that. Took me forever to drive across 24 to Topeka. Now, I didn't do that again. But I remembered the other day, that afternoon, I drove out 24 out east of, or west of Kansas City, Kansas. There was nothing out there. Nothing. Now it's a whole city out there.
Isn't that where the new casino went into?
There's a new casino out there, but no, we didn't go to the casino. There is a huge shopping mall out there that it's called Legends.
Yes.
And I learned something. They've got pictures around the shopping mall of Kansans who are legends, who were very successful Kansans. And one of them that I saw was Clyde Vernon Cessna from Wichita, Kansas. Another one was was Evans, can't remember his first name, from St. Francis, Kansas. He was an astronaut. But the other one, the one that surprised the heck out of me, was from Osborne, Kansas, Russell Stover. I didn't know he was from Osborne, Kansas. Eileen's family grew up around Osborne, Kansas. Her uncle was the county treasurer of Osborne County for years. Never mentioned the fact that Russell Stover grew up in Osborne, Kansas. Wow. Little known facts that you learn. But that is a fantastic shopping mall. So I'm thinking maybe sometime, maybe the week after Thanksgiving, just before Christmas season begins, we fill up the church bus and we go to Legends, and you can shop till you drop. Then we'll go out to eat, possibly in the plaza at Cheesecake Factory or somewhere. And then we do the Christmas lights in Kansas City, in the plaza and downtown. We wouldn't get home until about 10 o'clock probably, p.m.
Sheet around.
But I'm thinking that would be a good trip to do your Christmas shopping at the Legends Mall.
But there's not enough room on the bus to put all the packages.
We'll take a trailer.
You have to remember, you fill up all the overheads and most of the bottom.
Yeah.
So with
Well,
the
there's room in the back. We'll manage. We'll make do.
have them shift.
When did you say you were thinking about going?
Maybe the week, but just before or just after Thanksgiving.
Because they don't do the Christmas lights until Thanksgiving.
That's right. That's right. They turn them on in the plaza on
Week after
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, we'll be in Branson.
That's right. We will be. But we'll do it. We'll get it done.
With or without the lights, right?
There is the Marriott Hotel. Downtown, center of downtown Kansas City. In fact, remember the song, Going to Kansas City? 12th Street and Vine? That song talked about 12th Street and Vine. That's where the Marriott Hotel is located, at 12th Street and Vine. It covers an entire city block, and from east to west. It's just a big high-rise hotel, probably 15, 20 stories tall. And it's just a big rectangular building. Nothing spectacular about the building until Christmas time. The entire south side of the building is lighted. And it's digitized. Whatever it is. Digitized. And what did we timed it one night.
I don't know.
It was 6, 7, or 8 minutes or something like that to run through the whole cycle.
Wow.
It has all these messages. The entire building is lighted. It looks like a big TV screen from a distance. And the lights will change colors from red to green all the way across. And then change to something else coming back. Or from up to down, down to up, whatever. Then they run a big long message across it. It's an amazing sight. The entire side of that building is lighted, and I don't know how they do it, because I don't know how many light bulbs they must have there, because it's all different colors. And you could just go and you need to sit on a hillside somewhere down around Crown Plaza, Crown
Center.
Crown Center, to get the full view of the thing. We sat down there one night and watched it, and then one night we sat right close to it downtown. And it, you know, you got to get out of the car if you're sitting too close to it, because it's so massive you can't see it all without standing outside. And then if you're too close, it's like sitting on the front row of a movie theater when what was that, Vista screen, whatever that thing came out. It's still huge, wide screen. So that would be a good part of the light show. It's spectacular to watch that. But we'll have to advertise that and see if there's anybody who wants to do that. If you want to do some extra Christmas shopping, that's the place to do it. So, yeah, it's right. What was the great hotel everybody stayed at in Kansas City? Mulebach. It's almost right across the street from the old Mulebach Hotel. It's right in the heart of downtown. Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. Okay, so much for that. I want to read you a letter because it pertains to Woodlawn, and it also pertains. Where are we today in the book of 1 Corinthians, by the way?
Chapter 5.
Okay. I want you to hear this. The letter that came this week, it was in my mailbox this morning when I got here. It is, the envelope says, the United Methodist Church, Great Plains Area, Office of the Bishop. When you get an envelope that says Office of the Bishop, you want to tear into it. Or either burn it, one or the other.
That's the knee shake.
Yeah. I want you to know, speaking of knees shaking, Adam is not correct. I'm not afraid of this. I'm not going to be in the golf tournament, but it's not because I'm afraid. I'm going to challenge Adam. We're going to have a fundraiser. I'm going to challenge Adam to a one-on-one. We'll raise some more money for camperships. We'll be coming back from Little Rock that morning on the bus of the tournament. I won't be in town. Okay, dear Pastor Calcote, it is a privilege for me to serve with you in the Great Plains Episcopal area. I've been blessed in all the appointments I have served, and my work with you and others in Nebraska and Kansas is an incredible gift to me. God has indeed prepared us for this ministry, and we have the power of the Holy Spirit at work in us. Thanks be to God. Now, this is the paragraph I really want you to hear if it pertains to you. It is my practice to focus on one text of Scripture for daily study each year. The bishop has been putting on the internet, on the website or on the internet every day a devotional guide, and he puts the pictures of 3 pastors on there, one from each of the 3 conferences that have just joined into the Great Plains Conference. And so once a year, every pastor's picture is on that devotional website for special prayers. That's the purpose of the website, is today pray for these 3 pastors, and here's a devotional guide to help you today. I look at that every day. Last week or week before last, I think it was, Adam's wife, what's her first name?
Ashley.
Ashley. Barlow Thompson was on there. Her picture was on there. She's preaching this morning, by the way. Pray for her. At 11 o'clock, she's preaching in Andover. Anyway, he goes on. He's talking about that website that he puts up every day. It is my practice to focus on one text of Scripture for daily study each year. This conference year, I will be reading 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 1 through 21. That's where we are today. This came at a most opportune time. In addition to the meditation and Scripture in the upper room. There, Paul reminds us in chapter 5, Paul reminds us that we are ambassadors for Christ, since God is making his appeal through us. We have been given the privilege of high responsibility of entreating the world to be reconciled to God. I am very grateful for all that you do to serve Christ and his reign. We're focusing our time and talents and resources on increasing the number of highly vital congregations in the emerging Great Plains Conference. one of our resources is the power of prayer. On October 4th, that's
Next Friday.
next Friday. On October 4th, I will be praying for you and the Derby Woodlawn United Methodist Church. He has a practice of lifting up one church every day and one pastor every day in prayer. I will be sending an email to all of your sisters and brothers and many others inviting them to pray for you on that day. May the Lord bless your ministry and empower all of those you serve to grow in their faith, hope, love, and witness for Christ. I just thought that was interesting that on the day that we start study of chapter 5, get this letter from the bishop.
That
You
means you're
said
doing
chapter
something right.
5, 1 through 21? There's only 13 verses.
Yeah. Good luck, Bishop.
I know.
I thought when I read that, wait a minute.
Starts with 13.
Yeah,
That wasn't five.
and he really doesn't mention in this chapter being ambassadors for Christ. Let's go to 2 Corinthians.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's 2 Corinthians. He missed a note here. But it says, I will be reading 1 Corinthians 5.
Are you going to correct him, Vic?
I will.
I'm old enough to do that. I guess I could.
Just tell him that one of your parishioners pointed that out to you.
And I will be sure to tell him it was Gene Anderson.
I just found it odd.
And chapter 5, 2 Corinthians, only goes to 21.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 Corinthians that he meant in there. I thought when I read that, ambassadors for Christ, chapter 5 in 1 Corinthians doesn't mention that term.
No, it talks about occasions and all that stuff.
But maybe it was fortuitous that he made that mistake just for us today. Well, any special needs today?
Our government,
Oh, yes.
we need to pray for the.
Boy, I don't know what's going to happen. Is deadline is
Tuesday.
Tuesday is the
Well,
first,
midnight
right?
Monday.
Yeah.
And that means you won't get your retirement check, right?
Yeah, what does that mean for you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I did read in the, I think it was in the paper yesterday, where the Department of Defense is very concerned because they'd have to shut down their schools, their hospitals, their clinics.
Well,
Let's just pray they don't shut down the air traffic controllers. You and I will be on the
Let us pray that they come to.
when are you going? When are you flying?
We're leaving Thursday and going to New York for 2 days, and then we're gonna do another cruise up to New England and Nova Scotia.
They're going to New England in October, and that's the days that the colors are so spectacular in New England in October. And I think in the middle of October, as we go south, that we're going to get to see a lot of color too, because I think it's going to be the right time for that trip to Nashville. Yeah. Yeah, let's hope they don't. Well, let's hope that they don't shut them down while you're gone. And you'll have to walk back.
Rent a car and drive home.
Yeah.
Mission essential people will still be working.
Oh. I think a lot of that is scare tactics. Everything wouldn't automatically, as of midnight Tuesday morning, shut down.
Well, the government's been shut down 17 times before.
Well, I don't think it would hurt to shut our government down sometime. The whole thing.
For a few minutes.
Kick them all out, start over.
Part of it.
I'd like eliminate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's.
Jerry Buchanan, I guess.
Yeah.
Really.
Jerry Buchanan has started his chemo, and I haven't talked to him since he started that last week. So,
It was bad. He's been really bad all week.
but we had a call. We've had several calls, 3 or 4 calls this weekend from
Sam?
Andrea Bradfield
Oh.
about her dad, Wes Herring.
What was his last name?
Haring, Herring.
Harry, okay.
His wife was the great pianist,
Yeah, Johnny.
Johnny. He is in another crisis. He has been in 2 or 3 of these over the last 6 months. He's been in hospice since February. So he's been in hospice since February. He resides at, what is Victoria something? I can't ever. Out of Andover, yeah. Victoria something.
Victoria Falls.
Falls? Okay. In Andover. So those two, let's lift those in prayer. Any others?
Rocky Rockenbach.
Oh, yes. Rocky's in Sunday school next door, and he don't look good.
He said today that he is able, that he's keeping food down much better.
Yeah.
And that and some things are actually beginning to taste good. And I do think he looks better than he did
Yeah.
a week ago.
He's been, for the last several weeks, he says absolutely nothing tastes good. It tastes terrible. And not been able to eat. And I can't imagine food tasting terrible. Can you? Everything you put in your mouth.
You haven't eaten army food.
MREs.
Oh, yeah.
Never had chemo.
Tuesday went well with Don's daughter and my niece. She got her implant, stem cell implant Tuesday, but they both are having a rough time right now.
She's in Oklahoma.
She's at MD Anderson.
Oh, she's in
She's
Houston.
been in MD Anderson for about 7 months.
And where's your daughter, Don?
She's at Wesley.
Wesley, here in town. Okay.
And then Jim, my son-in-law's taking infusions every day for his infection on the knee replacement that he did. And we're praying it goes well.
Sheesh.
I knew about it, I didn't tell you.
You know what?
The need.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna have one.
Yeah.
It can go very well.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
had both of them replaced, never had a big one.
That's right, you did. I remember seeing you up there. You weren't having any trouble.
My mom had both of hers replaced when she was 80 years old. She didn't have any
Well.
problems.
Everybody's their own case, I guess. I have an appointment later in late October with an orthopedic surgeon, and I'm just afraid he's going to suggest that idea.
Well, believe me, if it goes well, you'll be glad you did.
That's what they tell me.
There's many more successes than there are problems.
Yeah. I just remember the first guy that I ever knew that had a knee replacement and died in the operation. Of course, he was older than I am. Let's be in prayer. Gracious Lord, as we lift these friends of ours into your presence, we ask your blessings upon them, upon their condition, upon their recoveries, their healing. Bring your presence to them in mighty ways. Bring your healing touch into their situation. Hear our prayers. Lord, bless us as we go to your word and as we seek your wisdom for our lives and our journey. Give us strength. Give us strength for our journey. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, we're on chapter 5 in First Corinthians. No matter where the bishop is, we're in 1 Corinthians. Bishops wander around a lot. This lesson could be called Different Living. Living differently. Because that's what Christianity calls us to do, is to live differently than the rest of the world. We're going to go back to Leviticus. You had an assignment, remember? Did you read Did you venture into Leviticus
Yes, I did.
with fear and trembling?
Yes, I did.
Gets tedious, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Book of the law. I mean, Leviticus is practically nothing but the book of the law. And your assignment was chapter 18, if you remember.
Pretty explicit, pretty.
It's pretty, yeah, that's pretty mildly. It's explicit.
It's X-rated.
And it's, yes, it is. It's X-rated. It repeats itself over and over in every verse, every verse. Do not, do not, do not. I've got the NIV. I don't know how your translations do this, but in the NIV, every verse, starting at, oh my goodness, let's see, starting at number 7. Starting at number 7, every verse begins exactly the same. What does it begin with? Do not, do not, do not. I think that's pretty explicit. This is the preface. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say this to them. I am the Lord your God. You must not do as they do in Egypt, where you used to live. And you must not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I am bringing you. Do not follow their practices. Do not live their ways. You must obey my laws and be careful to follow my decrees. I am the Lord your God. Keep my decrees and laws, for the man who obeys them will live by them. I am the Lord." And then he goes on with all of the do nots on sexual behavior, how we are to live our lives in regards to sexuality. And over he says, "Thou shalt not do these things." But I want you to hear that preface. Do not do what they did in Egypt, where I'm taking you from. Do not do the way they do in Canaan, to the land I'm taking you to. Don't follow their ways. You must follow my ways, because I am your God. Now I think God with Moses prefaced all of the law that way. I am your God. This is the way you're supposed to live. You're not supposed to live the way everybody around you lives. You're supposed to live my way. Now that's different living, or that's living differently. Israel got tired of that. They got tired of all those do nots. Give us some do's. Let us do these things that everybody else is doing. And when they wandered, that W-A-N-D-E-R, when they wandered away from God's ways, what happened to them?
They always got in trouble. I mean, they got sent to slavery.
Eventually they were just totally defeated.
Yeah.
And taken into exile. But before God really got just tired of them, they were defeated over and over. They went through hard times over and over. And God had to chastise them. In the New Testament, Paul said God disciplines you because he loves you. Why did you discipline your kids? Because you hated them? Because you were mad at them? Because you enjoyed beating on them? I hope not. You disciplined your children because you loved them and you wanted them to live differently, to live your way. And hopefully your way was God's way. Well, I had you read that chapter to preface what we're reading in 1 Corinthians chapter 5. Let's go back to Corinthians. I'm not going to dwell on all those do nots in Leviticus, but I hope you read them.
You know, kind of interesting that a lot of those don't apply as far as when you think, but when you get into the genetic connection, so many of those, there's a physical reason for it,
Yeah.
do not, because it leads to so many
We still have
problems.
laws on our books in the United States and most states, most every state, against things such as bestiality and certain,
I think Candace, you can't marry your cousin, your first cousin.
yeah. Why?
Well, it leads to health problems
Yeah.
a lot often. I can't think of the politically correct word, but mental retardation.
You don't have to be politically correct in here, do
Well,
you?
but
Any generic problem that is
genetic problems, yeah.
magnified when you,
That's right. When you marry someone too close to you, now that we know more about DNA and RNA and genes and all of that, you know, we've figured out, or maybe God revealed it to us. Do we make any discoveries that God doesn't let us make?
No.
I suppose not. In all of our scientific research and study of the human body and makeup and so forth, we've discovered that these things just make sense. And that's what the law was for way back there, before they knew anything at all about genes and chromosomes and DNA and all of that. All of the law back there, don't eat pork, because it's pretty hard to cook pork properly. And if you don't, you're going to have a problem with it. And so don't eat pork. Don't eat all of these things, because they didn't know the whys. They hadn't done enough research, but they had the law that said, don't do these things. They're detrimental to your life. Don't have sexual relations with this, and this.
But isn't it some of that a little bit over the line, like uncovering your daughter's nakedness? How do you change a diaper? I mean,
Well,
you know,
I don't think that had anything to do with changing diapers.
I mean, it sounds like Islam, the burqa
Yeah.
and the don't show your nakedness and it's like.
Well, I think they were talking about when you're of age. You know, when your
Well,
daughter's
nurses in
daughter
the hospital.
is
In
of
the very
age.
beginning, when you needed to populate the earth, fathers even had sex with their daughters.
Yeah.
Sisters and so forth.
Yeah.
That was way early. And so
Yeah.
now he's come out with these laws in Leviticus after all that. Now you're not to do those things.
Yeah.
well, you know, the pagan worships, much of it was sexual. And in many areas, every woman, for example, had to serve her time in the temple as a prostitute.
Yeah.
No, that was the way it
In-
worked.
God knew there when he gave Moses Leviticus chapter 18, all those do's and do nots. God knew where they were going. He was taking them to the land of Canaan. Canaan was a land where people lived on the land. They worshiped the land. Practically every ancient religion worshiped the fertility of the soil. We were in England in 1984 for the Methodist Bicentennial Tour. In 1984, Methodism in America turned 200. It was founded at the Christmas conference, December 24th of 1784, when we formed the Methodist Church in America. Now, they didn't do that in England. Wesley was still alive, and he would not let that happen in England. He died in 1791, and within a year or so, there was a Methodist church in England. Until he died, the Methodist church didn't exist in England. It was just part of the Episcopal, or of the Church of England, Episcopal Church in America. Although the Episcopal Church didn't exist in America at that time either. Wesley would not let Methodists pull out of the Church of England and start their own denomination. They did so after he died. But he gave his blessing to the colonists who did that in 1784, shortly after the Revolution ended. So this was a bicentennial tour. We went to a little town called Pill, England. P-I-L-L, Pill. Beautiful little town. It is on the seacoast, the west coast of England. Juts way inland at that point. And there's a little village where that part of the ocean, the Atlantic, North Atlantic, juts into the land. And that's the seaport for the larger town of Bristol, England. Now, Wesley built his first chapel at Bristol. It's called the New Chapel, or he called it the New Chapel, in the Horse Fair. It was in the section of Bristol called the Horse Fair. And he built his first chapel there. So Bristol was very important in the early days of the Wesleyan movement in England. But Bristol does not have, it was a big, thriving city, but Bristol does not have a seaport. There's no ocean that comes to Bristol. The nearest port is at Pill, very small town, on this bay that juts into England. And so the first preachers that John Wesley sent to the colonies in the late 70s, before the Revolution, in the late 60s or early 70s, the very first preachers, and there's a historic Methodist print of that, of Wesley sending 2 preachers from Pill, the seaport at Pill, to America. And that picture is entitled, "Offer Them Christ," because those were the last words of instruction that John Wesley gave to his preachers as they boarded the boat. Well, they were boarding a rowboat to row out to the ship to go to America, to the colonies, to superintend the work in North America. So we were there to lay a stone, to lay a monument to that spot. In 1984, the 200th anniversary, we were at Pill. And they had set up like a fair on the commons, on the green, as they call it in England, sort of like the city park. Adjacent to that seaport, the spot where the first preachers boarded a rowboat and rowed out to the ship to come to America. We were there to dedicate a monument. So they had all these tents set up and all these wonderful little shops in there. And we spent most of a day at Pill. But I remember at one point in the early afternoon, they had a dance troupe come. It was not from Pill, it was from a neighboring little town. And I don't remember what that town was. But this was a dance troupe from that little town. And they came and danced a fertility dance. Now, don't get it wrong. Don't get excited. They said to us, it was common in the Middle Ages. Every little town had a dance troupe, a dance team. And every spring, as the soil, as the land is awakening from the winter and becoming fertile again, the dance teams would dance in the fields and in the towns to bless the land, to thank God. It was a way of thanking God, or the fertility gods in a sense. This is sort of pagan. To awaken the soil. And I remember every member of that dance team, and they were brightly dressed, spectacularly dressed. Remember that dance team? Mm-hmm. I was taking pictures of them, and in one of the pictures I have, every one of them is about that high off the ground, because that was part of the dance. They were up and down and up and down. And in one of my pictures, every member of the team is about that high off the ground. But every one of them carried a long stick, probably 6 or 8 feet long, a long stick. and they beat the ground with that stick. They would jab the end of it on the ground often as they danced. And then at times they would really hit the ground with it. It was to awaken the soil. Those were medieval rites practices. In Europe, not in Canaan, in Europe, during the Middle Ages. What was going on in the Middle Ages with the church? The Catholic Church ruled Europe for 1,000 years, basically. When the Roman Empire fell and there was no government to unite, to keep any kind of peace and unity and order in society, it fell by default to the church to be that authority that would keep order in society. So this is going on when the church is at a powerful point in its history. But it's, and in Christian communities, they're still doing those dances, which were traditional way back when, to awaken the soil, to bless the soil, that their crops that they would be planting soon would grow. That was true in every religion, I think, in history. They had some sense that at least during part of the year, the land is dead. It grows nothing. Look at Greek mythology. They, in their mythology, thought that the period of the death was when, I can't remember, the goddess of the soil, goddess of growth, her daughter had been kidnapped by Poseidon, basically, who was king of the sea. And during half of the year, approximately, or a good portion of the year, she had to dwell with him. And therefore, when she was in the ocean with her captor, this was the deal that the two had worked out together. When she was in the ocean, the soil was dead because the goddess of the soil, and I can't remember which god that is, goddess, was in mourning because her daughter was not with her.
And that was winter.
And that was winter, yes, when the soil was dead. That was the way they explained that in their mythology, way back when. And when the daughter was with the goddess of the ground, or earth, whatever she was, then she was happy and not mourning, and so the soil would blossom and grow everything. So you can go as far back as you want in history, and you'll find that in every ancient religion there was some concept of fertility and the need of fertility. And that's what the Canaanite gods were. We call them the Baals, or Baal, B-A-A-L, and actually that's two syllables. If you see it printed properly, it's B-A, looks like a hyphen, A-L, Baal. It's the god, all refers to God. It's false gods. It's the gods of the land, the gods of fertility. Those were the gods of the Canaanites. The scripture that Paul is using this morning in the story he's telling in his sermon is the story of the battle between Elijah and the prophets of Baal, the prophets of Jezebel, the ones that she worshipped, who was married to King Ahab, who Jezebel was an evil woman. And she led her king, her husband, the king, astray to worship idols. And in turn, he led the nation astray in worshiping idols. When the head of the nation in the Old Testament, when the head of the nation goes wrong and disobeys God and worships idols, it has an effect on the whole nation because he's the head of the nation and he leads the nation the way they should go or the way they should not go. And that is the difference, by the way, in the Old Testament between a good king and a bad king. And one of the other things you'll notice in the Old Testament, time and time again, when it's talking about the kings, read the books of 1st, 2nd Kings, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings, 1st, 2nd Chronicles, the Chronicles of the Kings. It's the history of the kings from their own records. You'll read over and over again about a king, a particular king, in either Israel, the northern kingdom, or Judah, the southern kingdom, after the kingdom is split. And he followed in the ways of his father David, which is good. If he followed in the ways of his father David, that's good, because David followed in the ways of the Lord very closely. Or you will see it sums up another king and says he did not follow the ways of his father David. And that's a bad king. And you can, if you read the stories during his time, Israel's in trouble if it's a bad king who leads them astray. And Ahab did, thanks to Jezebel. So Israel, back there in Leviticus, is in the wilderness, but they're headed for Canaan. That's the land that God's going to give them. They're going to encounter all of these pagan people and all of their pagan practices. Now jump ahead about 2,000 years, 1,500 years. And what about the church in the first century? In the time that Paul is a missionary, and Paul is writing all of these letters. What's the situation of the church in those days?
Well, according to this, there says that it's reported that there are sexual...
Don't read that. Don't read that yet. What is the plight of the church? Just think about it. What is the plight of the church in the first century?
Well, there really wasn't any organization as such,
Going downhill.
except the local.
Well,
They're falling into following the pagan practices.
why?
Because it's fun. I
No, it may be that, but
don't know.
it may be that, but
It's easy.
they're exactly where Israel was 1,500 years before.
Yeah.
Israel is going into a new land to claim it as their own. But they're going to be surrounded by all these pagan people and all their pagan religions and pagan practices. And Israel is supposed to live differently. Look at chapter 18. Look at the whole book of Leviticus. Israel is not supposed to be like their neighbors.
That's the reason the Lord said kill all of them.
That's exactly right.
Which
And they didn't,
do.
which they did not obey, and they suffered the consequences. As horrible as it sounds, God knew what he was talking about. As horrible as it sounds for kill them all.
Or
I
it
pointed
sounds
out,
horrible to us,
I-
but back during that time, that was
Yeah.
We have laws against that now.
For killing all of them?
God
Yeah.
knew what he was doing. I mean,
Tell the Muslims that.
I pointed out last Wednesday night in my class on Christianity and Islam, you might think about joining that, that was a jihad. What else was it? We don't use that word in Christianity and Judaism, jihad. That's an Arabic word. But it's in the Koran. That's what it means to kill the infidel. That's holy jihad. But how did Israel begin? Under Joshua. Wasn't that jihad?
Yeah.
God said very clearly, when you defeat, and Jericho was the first battle after they came across the Jordan River into Canaan. The first battle was Jericho. And God said, I will deliver them into your hands, and you are to kill every one of them. Leave nothing, take nothing from Jericho.
No animals.
Destroy it all. Yes, no animals, no humans, no property, no possessions. Destroy it all. And basically they did, except when they went to the next battle after Jericho, they lost.
Yeah, because they didn't.
And they couldn't figure out, why did we lose? What happened? God's supposed to be on our side. Then they discovered that one man in the camp had taken something from Jericho that he was not supposed to take. He just couldn't destroy it. He saw it, he wanted it, he couldn't destroy it. Couldn't bring himself to do that. And so he took it and hid it in his tent. And they lost the next battle. God said to Joshua, you've got to find out what he took. And they did, and they destroyed it, and they destroyed him and his family for disobeying. And then they won the next battle.
No, they went back and went at where they had lost.
Yes.
But Ai,
Yeah, Ai, wasn't it?
yeah, Ai. Yeah.
You know how to spell AI? AI.
E-I-E-I-O.
Yeah. Dag nabbit. So that's where the church is in the first century. They're a new faith. A new religion, if you want to call it that. I hesitate to call it a religion because that sounds so structured and so different. It was a new faith, a new way of living, a new way of understanding God, sat down in the middle of paganism, especially in a city like Corinth. Most all of the Greek cities worshipped many gods. Well, most of the whole world did at that time. Worshipped many gods.
Remember Paul went in and said they had a God that they didn't know.
Yeah, in Athens.
Yeah.
When he was in, I perceive that you are a very religious people. You have temples to every god. Oh, by the way, in Nashville there is an exact replica of the temple of Athena, which sat on the top of the hill in Athens. What did they call that temple?
Parthenon.
The Parthenon. It was a temple to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, who was the superseding god for the city of Athens. It was the city of learning and wisdom. Her temple was up the highest on the hill. And I don't remember what the year was. In the 20s or 30s, Nashville hosted a World's Fair. I didn't know that until we were there the other day. They hosted a World's Fair, and they built, for that World's Fair, they built on a hill, south end of Nashville at that time. Now the city's completely grown around it, but out about probably half a mile to a mile south of town, in those days, they built an exact replica of the Parthenon. And now it's a big, beautiful city park. We're going to give you a chance to, we're going to give you a photo op when we get there, and you can take pictures of the Parthenon. But Paul saw all those temples to all these gods in Athens, and he said, I perceive you're a very religious people. You have a temple for all these gods, but I also notice that you have a monument over here to an unknown god. And they did. The Athenians wanted to cover every base. They wanted to make sure they had a worship place for every god. And in case they missed one, they put this monument here to the unknown god. In case they had, there were some other gods besides the one on their list. And so Paul began to try to debate with them about who that unknown God was, or is. Well, imagine what it would be like to be a Christian in the first century when you're set down in the middle of such paganism. And all of their practices, in every one of their temples, in every one of their religions, somewhere in there, there was some worship of the fertility of the soil, fertility of the land, fertility. And fertility meant sexual activity. Every one of those religions, just about every one of those religions, had cult or temple prostitutes, male and female, as part of their worship. It was a big part of their worship. But Jews, chapter 18 Leviticus, aren't supposed to do that. Christians aren't supposed to live that way. They're different. In the midst of all of this culture that they grew up in, they're not supposed to live that way. Now, jump ahead 2,000 years. Christians today.
Yeah.
What's going on in our culture?
Yeah.
Permissiveness is rampant in our society, but we're not supposed to live that way. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to uphold a different sexual ethic. But too often today, Christians are like the Israelites were in Canaan. We blink. We smile at what we're not supposed to do. We accept it. It is politically correct. It is politically incorrect not to accept it. And if you speak out against it, you will be banned. You will be banished. You will be criticized. Persecuted even. Persecution has taken on new words in our society. Hate speech is one of those words. If you want to speak out and be different, as Christians are supposed to be, and speak out against these things, you're labeled as a hater. And that's hate speech to believe those things.
You can even be charged for that.
You can be. I'm reading another book, I've been reading it for a while, comparing what happened in Nazi Germany to what's going on in America today. And they quote from a newspaper article in Texas in 2009. A principal and an athletic director were arrested for praying over their meal in school. They were arrested and put in jail. In Texas in 2009 AD.
Separation of church and state. I'm
And
not
when
saying
we
that's
do
a good
that-
thing. I'm just saying that's,
They just
That's what-
kind of had changed that word, freedom of religion, not from.